Hello everyone. Um, Today I'm going to play Grixis Death Shadow in a league. I'll go ahead and show off my list here. This list was developed by my friend Agrippa, and it's basically just very similar to Grixis Delver, but the black is there for Thoughtseize and Death Shadow, the red is there for Lightning Bolt, Dreadhorde Arcanist, a Braid, and a bunch of Pyroblasts and Red Elemental Blasts out of the board. The black is there for Plague Engineer in the sideboard. But other than that, it's pretty typical Delver or Tempo style list, but it just has the sort of Death's Shadow package of Shocklands and Street Wraiths. So let's play our first match. I'm on the draw, so I have 3 chances to find a land with the Street Wraiths and the card that I would draw for turn. We don't really have any cantrips though, so I think I'm going to mulligan this. This hand looks a little better. Let's see. I think I'm going to... It's kind of tough between one of these lands and a Brainstorm, but I think I'm going to bottom Brainstorm so that we can for sure curve into the Dreadhorde on turn 2. Astrolabe. I'm just going to cycle this now. Just going to play Watery Grave, untapped, and pass. Going to get a Steam Vents here. And we will play our Arcanist. Swords to Plowshares. Perhaps I should have Thoughtseize first, but that's okay. It's one less Swords to Plowshares for our Death Shadow. So I'm going to start things off with a Thoughtseize on my opponent this turn. There's an Ice Fang. I'm going to daze this Brainstorm. So there's a Force of Will, Plague Engineer, and 2 Ponders. I think I'm going to take the Plague Engineer. Now I'm going to cast my Brainstorm. Put Watery Grave and Underground Sea back on top. Fetch out that Watery Grave and play our Death Shadow. And we have Daze backup if they force. It's another Ice Fang. I think I have to let that resolve. I mean, I can't. nothing I can do. I'll cycle this Street Wraith. Starting to get pretty low on life. So maybe I'll just play this Scalding Tarn and we'll leave up Force of Negation. I'm going to let Ponder resolve. We'll save the Force of Negation for something scarier. Like a Planeswalker. Or a Swords to Plowshares. I think I'm just going to pass the turn back. I think it's pretty likely I'm going to lose from here. Unless I can like brainstorm into multiple lightning bolts. So we're going to go ahead and daze this. So unfortunately now we cannot Force of Negation, but we'll see what they do. It's possible maybe I should have played out this Volcanic Island. I might just Thoughtseize here. Now if they have like a Swords to Plowshares or something, they kind of have to use it, I guess. An Abrupt Decay, okay. I'll take the Plague Engineer. I'm just going to scoop. All right, lost game one to Snowko. But we have a lot of good cards to bring in. So I'm going to cut the Wastelands. I'm going to bring in the Blasts. And I think I'm going to bring in the Plague Engineers. Take out the Force of Negations. And so I think I'll cut 2 Force of Will for 2 Surgical Extraction, and we'll try that. I don't think we need 3 Surgical Extraction, and I kind of am not... I'm not super high on Brazen Borrower because it's basically just a 3/1 flying for 3. I mean, you can bounce maybe an Oko, or you can bounce... I don't know. It's a lot of their stuff generates value immediately upon coming into play, so bouncing it really isn't the best move. I'm going to keep this. We've got a turn 1 Thoughtseize and possibly a turn 2 Dreadhorde Arcanist. I think I may as well just lead with Thoughtseize here. Multiple Swords to Plowshares, Pyroblast, Brainstorm, Plague Engineer. So we're going to take a Swords to Plowshares. And I'm just going to cycle this now. Nice. So we have the turn 2 Dreadhorde, but kind of curious if I want to play it now. It will draw out that last Swords to Plowshares in their hand, but might be better if that resolves. Let's see. So I could ponder here, maybe hoping to find another Thoughtseize, but they have Brainstorm up, so they can just hide the Swords to Plowshares anyway. I think I may as well just play the Arcanist. Let them swords it, you know? Maybe they'll play around days and won't be, yeah, they're playing around days, so. Swords to Plowshares, sure. Now the coast is relatively clear for these 2 Death Shadows. 3 Death Shadows, on the other hand. So I'm hoping to find, okay, we have Street Wraith, Pyroblast, Lightning Bolt. That's not the worst, but it's also not the best. I think I'll put Pyroblast, Lightning Bolt, Street Wraith, no shuffle. This at least lets us play a shadow this turn. And we have an answer for the Plague Engineer. Oh, shoot. He's going to be able to kill my Death Shadow with his Plague Engineer, though. Maybe I shouldn't have played that there. Maybe I should have pondered. Oh well. We still have 2 more Death Shadows, so. Oh, and he's not actually going to go with the Plague Engineer right now. Okay. Taking a slightly different approach. We'll see if they shuffle off of this ponder. They do not shuffle, so maybe they found a Swords to Plowshares. I think I do want to ponder here. So there's a Dreadhorde Arcanist on top there. If I play out multiple shadows now, that leaves me pretty vulnerable to Swords to Plowshares, but he's already played 2 Swords to Plowshares. Maybe the right thing to do is to just pass with the ability to fetch if he plays the Plague Engineer, naming Avatar, or we can just draw. Okay, it's a Path to Exile. I will not use that ability. I'm kind of fine with just drawing the Arcanist here too, because that's really not that bad. We can play a Shadow and an Arcanist next turn. Or I can even just play the Arcanist. Okay, so we could play the Arcanist and leave a Pyroblast or Lightning Bolt. But I think I'm just going to go for it here. And I'm going to play the Arcanist and the Death Shadow. Okay, Abrupt Decay, that's fine. So they have Brainstorm, Plague Engineer, Pyroblast, and one unknown card. There's the Brainstorm. So we can Lightning Bolt ourselves to have it deal quite a bit of damage. Um, the real question is, do they have another Swords to Plowshares? Because I would love to play this second Death Shadow. Let's just try attacking for 4. Okay. And I'm going to play the other Death Shadow here. I feel like if they had the Swords to Plowshares, they probably would have used it there. I might be wrong. Plague Engineer, Pyroblast, and 2 unknown cards. Okay. Gonna go ahead and just bolt that out of the way. Brainstorm. We are gonna just go ahead and Pyroblast the Brainstorm here, because then they have a red mana and a blue mana up. I'm not really sure what they can do with that against these Death Shadows, which, if I bolt myself, are lethal. All right, that'll do it. And game 3. I think I'm going to cut a couple dazes because I'm now on the draw. And I think we're going to bring in a couple Force of Will. That seems fine. This hand is a mulligan. I'm going to keep this one. And we'll put a Scalding Tarn on the bottom. Okay. Let's cycle the Street Wraith just to see what our options are here. I think I'm going to go with a Steam Vents into this Delver of Secrets. Okay, there's an Astrolabe. We will reveal Daze. Swing with our Insect. And we'll leave a Brainstorm. I'm going to go for the Brainstorm here. All right, we will put back these 2 lands. Let's fetch them away. I'm gonna ponder here. Delver, Force, Street Wraith. That seems fine. I'm going to put Force, then Delver, then Street Wraith back on top. We are not going to shuffle. There's an Abrupt Decay. Let's cycle this. Play this Delver. And now we have a Force of Will on top, which can flip it. I sort of played poorly around Ice Fang there. So maybe what I'll do after I draw the Force of Will next turn is play the Plague Engineer, name Snake, so that we can't get surprise. So that we can't get surprise Ice Fanged. They know we have a Daze though, so it's a Path to Exile. That is fine. We will not use the ability. I think I actually want another Steam Vents. That'll put us to 7. Yeah, I feel like the Steam Vents will be more important to have that double red mana going forward. Actually, I think I'm just going to go ahead and play the Death Shadow here, because it'll be a nice 6/6. They've already played a Decay and a Path. We will find out if they have the Swords to Plowshares. I'm going to play the Plague Engineer, so because I'm kind of detecting that they might have an Ice Fang that they were just about to play. This way we can name Snake and get a little bit of protection before we attack. They are forcing that, so we are going to cycle Street Wraith. And we will force Pitching Daze. Veil of Summer. Well, it is what it is. I'm going to refrain from attacking. Oh, well, they have an Abrupt Decay anyway. So, yeah, that's just how it goes, I suppose. Ground Seal. Cards in graveyard can't be the target of spells or abilities. Okay. That will turn off our Surgical Extractions. And our Dreadhorde Arcanists. But here's another Death Shadow. And we have Red Elemental Blast backup, in case they try to play an Oko or an Ice Fang Kotal. Brainstorm. Yeah, I'll let that resolve. I think I need to save the blasts for cards that um, are more impactful. Dang. So we are going to name Snake. I'm going to let Ponder resolve. They've been able to pretty reliably and efficiently answer all of our threats, so that's just going to be how it goes this game. I have literally no outs for that ground seal, but we are going to go ahead and play our Arcanist here. Oops. Add a red. Maybe we can win the game with this little 3 damage per turn clock we have here. There is a Brainstorm. I'm going to let that resolve. Plague Engineer. We're going to attack with the Plague Engineer. Get back down to a low enough life total to play a Death Shadow. And then we have Red Elemental Blast backup. Euro's going to be fine. We are going to blast that. Not sure how we're going to deal with the Euro next turn. Hopefully we draw another Red Elemental Blast or Pyroblast. Yeah, I think in this particular game we did not really accrue enough advantage or leverage our mana well enough early in the game, and this ground seal really has kind of like taken away my chance at coming back with the Arcanist and like getting any kind of advantage. They had answers at the ready for pretty much every single creature that I played. At least that was of any consequence. Well, that's just how it goes, I guess. The matchup certainly feels better with these blasts. Forcible Pyroblast, Red Elemental Blast, and another Euro. Feeling pretty dead here, but I think I will just take the I think I'll take the Euro. And we'll just pass. Ice Fang. Yeah, the game's pretty over at this point, I think. Unless we draw Brainstorm. We really need to brainstorm into like Red Elemental Blast, Pyroblast, Lightning Bolt to have much of a chance. Of course, their hand has multiple red blast effects, so I don't think our Brainstorm isn't going to resolve, but I think we have to go for it anyway. There's Pyroblast. Yeah, that dang ground seal really takes away any chance that we had. We're just going to go to 2 here. Yeah, this match is basically unwinnable now. Well, they did tap all of their mana, so now they don't have mana up to be able to counter a Brainstorm with the Red Elemental Blast, but I think even if we draw Brainstorm, the writing's pretty much on the wall. Yeah, I'm just going to concede. All right, we lost to Snowko, but we'll see what happens in round 2. We will play first. And this hand is great. Keeping it. We have turn 1 Thoughtseize into turn 2 Dreadhorde. And we have the ability to lose a lot of life. If we draw a Death's Shadow, we should be able to play it. Okay, so it looks like we're playing against some sort of Enchantress deck. I'm going to go ahead and take the Argothian Enchantress. Yep. Perfect, there's a Death Shadow. We're going to play the Arcanist first and foremost, though. Flashback our Thoughtseize next turn. And then our Death Shadow will be pretty big. is this? Destiny Spinner. Creature and enchantment spells you control can't be countered. Okay. Well, it's a 2/3. Yeah. Now, I think we have to try to find a lightning bolt. We're going to cycle the Street Wraith. I'm going to brainstorm with my black mana. We do not find the lightning bolt we're looking for, so I'm going to put Force and Brainstorm on top because this thing is going to make it so we can't counter any enchantments anyways. I'm going to put those in any order, shuffle, and a Wasteland for the Serra Sanctum is quite nice. And I do not want to just sacrifice this Dreadhorde Arcanist. Well, I guess, shoot, that was a mistake. This thing doesn't actually, doesn't kill it if it blocks. That was a mistake. That was stupid. Could have flashback Ponder. Enchantress's Presence, and they will get to draw a card off of the Wild Growth. So we know that the last card in hand is Collector. Oof. We will start by cycling the Street Wraith. I'm going to go ahead and attack, and we are going to flashback the Thoughtseize. I'll take this Elephant Grass here. And I think I'm going to brainstorm with this Steam Vents. We'll put Force of Will back, and we'll put Thoughtseize back. This, whoops. Okay, and now we can begin really clocking them with the shadow. First things first, I think I'm going to Ponder. At least we can hit a land drop here. I can make my shadow really big if I want to. I think I will. We'll just attack with the shadow. We will play our second shadow. And now they need to have a pretty good turn to stay in this game here. Put a +1/+1 counter on it and draw a card. Okay. I don't think that was really what they needed. Ooh, Lightning Bolt. So we can just go ahead and bolt this thing out of the way. We can bolt that thing out of the way, and then Street Wraith to swing for lethal. All right. So we're playing against Enchantress of some sort. Um, it looked like they had quite a few creatures, so maybe we bring in the Abrades for the Force of Negations. We could bring in Bryn Borrower to bounce clutch enchantments at certain points. Um, but to tell you the truth, I'm not even sure we really need the Brazen Borrowers. Um, we are on the draw, so I could probably shave a couple dazes, and I think this is probably fine. We did see Argothian Enchantress, um, but I don't think we need to bring in the Plague Engineers. I think everything else we have is fine. This is a fine hand, I think. I'm going to start off with the Thoughtseize here. So we have Elephant Grass, Argothian Enchantress, and Enchantress's Presence. This is the one with Shroud. I'll go ahead and take the Argothian Enchantress. Steam Vents will put us to 13. Um, that's fine. I'll play the Delver here. Not quite low enough to play Death Shadow just yet, but soon enough. Okay, they play Elephant Grass. Two for each creature that's attacking. We will not reveal that. Wasteland that value. Cycle Street Wraith. Probably should have cycled the Street Wraith first. And I think I'm going to ponder here. Alright, seems well enough. We'll put the Abrade, the Force of Will, and this Delver of Secrets. We will not shuffle. We will play our next Delver. And now we can rest assured that both Delvers will flip the following turn. Alright, there's the Enchantress's Presence. We will brainstorm. I'll put back Wasteland and this Abrade here. Play the Steam Vents, pay their pair of life, play our Death Shadow. And now we've got a really fast clock. We can bolt ourselves for lethal next turn if they don't have a blocker or some means of preventing. Okay, there's an Elephant Grass, so they do have a means of preventing us from attacking, but that's fine. Multiple elephant grasses. Okay. Well, I think we just pass. Mm, carpet of flowers, yep. It's going to generate a lot of mana. Ground seal. Mm-hmm. And Utopia Sprawl. Okay. We may be losing this one here. Well, at the very least, we can attack with both insectile aberrations. I'm just going to F6. Perhaps it's not wise to let them know we don't have any counter magic, but, you know, they're probably just going to play a whole ton of spells anyway. Unless they can find a solitary confinement or another elephant grass, they're dead. And even if they find another elephant grass, uh, that doesn't really stop us. And we still have Brazen Borrowers in our deck, so, you know, whatever prison piece they might find, we can just bounce it, potentially. If they cast Replenish here, that would be pretty bad. Okay. Oh, Chalice. Okay. Well, luckily for us, we can just Petty Theft their blocker. And we win. All right. I will be back to record more matches. All right, welcome back. Gonna finish out this league which I started with Grixis Death's Shadow. So far, we lost to Snowko in 3 games, and we beat Enchantress in 2 games. We are currently playing this list. Alright, we are on the draw. I will keep this hand. Our opponent mulligans to 5. Yep. So we are playing against Elves, it looks like. I'm going to cycle both of these. And we're going to bolt the Allosaurus Shepherd. Quirion Ranger, that resolves. And they are playing around days, so I think I'm going to play both Delvers of Secrets. I'm going to get an Underground Sea here because if you get too low against Elves, they will just aggro you out, even if you're able to stop the combo. However, they did mull to very few cards in hand, so Reclaimer, sure. And there's a Heritage Druid. That's fine. Oh, good God. And we are... They still have the Dryad Arbor. Damn. Well, we're going to counter it. Jeez. Turn 3. Elves is no joke. Okay, what does this guy do again? Flying Vigilance Trample. As it enters the battlefield, choose. Okay, so he has chosen probably instant. Okay. Well, at least we revealed Ponder. Flying Vigilance and Trample. And we cannot cast instants. Not really sure what I'm looking for, to tell you the truth. So I think to even have a chance in this game, we need to find like a Death Shadow or a Dreadhorde Arcanist. I really don't see how we're gonna win this game. I don't think we have a path to victory at this point. Elves is an extremely difficult matchup. Okay, so we're playing against Elves here. We're going to bring in the Abrades and the Plague Engineers. And I think we're probably going to board out two Force of Negation and two Force of Will. They can play around days pretty easily, so maybe I'll actually leave the Force of Will and we'll shave 2 days, and then if we win this game when we're on the draw, I'll shave the remaining 2. This is not keepable. This is keepable. And maybe we'll bottom a Force of Will. So I'm going to start things off with Watery Grave, Delver Secrets. We will just have to hope that flips. Elvish Reclaimer. I'm going to let that resolve. We will not reveal Death's Shadow. That does help us get to the point where we can play Death Shadow. So I think I'm going to go ahead and cycle both Street Rates. And pass the turn. This is still kind of not where I wanted to be at this point in the game. Ah, well that's a good draw. The issue is, we can't actually kill anything on the current board. So I could attack, and then if he blocks with the Reclaimer, we play Plague Engineer, but then he would bounce it with the Wirewood Symbiote. I think the best play here is probably just to play Plague Engineer. And we are going to name Elf. Now we can attack with the Delver. If they want to trade with the Wirewood Symbiote, I'm fine with that actually. There's the Abrupt Decay. I always have every single time I play a Plague Engineer. Just gonna F6. I don't even care. The sooner this is over with, the better. This matchup is basically unwinnable unless you have a pretty amazing beginning with Lightning Bolt into Dreadhorde Arcanist. Or if somehow miraculously they don't find the Abrupt Decay for your Plague Engineer. We'll reveal that. Get rid of that credit. We will force the Cropper to play a Death Shadow. And we'll start getting in for some damage. There's another Abrupt Decay. So at this point I just lose the race. This has not gone well at all. That's okay. That's just what Elves does. Can't really attack because they can block and then return. They're probably going to return Elvish Visionary to their hand anyway. And we're pretty dead. I'm assuming they just have a natural order or something. I'm just gonna scoop. There's no way. Well, I could draw a Plague Engineer. So I guess I'll play it out. Pretty much feels unwinnable at this point, though. Yeah, I'm not going to get to draw. They're just going to play a whole ton of Elves, and then it's going to be game over. They're going to natural order into something. Or just downright, play a Crater of Behemoth. Alright, we lost to Elves in 2. They always have the Abrupt Decay. We are on the play. I will keep this hand. We have multiple Delvers. This is a good Delver hand. Delver of Secrets. We will not reveal that. We will, however, play it. Bolt there, Delver. Play our second Delver. And then attack. We are going to daze that. We're going to dig for another daze. Nope. Alright, their Dreadhorde Arcanist will resolve. Jeez, and our Delvers just will not flip. This has gone poorly. Hopefully they don't have a removal spell. Of course. Well, it is what it is. We're going to cycle this, try and find some action as soon as possible. That isn't what I was looking for, but I will play a Steam Vents here to put us a little lower. They don't have the biggest clock right now, so hopefully we can find a shadow. And with this brainstorm and then second brainstorm, they're probably going to be able to find something that'll be threatening. We flooded out pretty hard this game. We had a pretty good start, but it's possible maybe I should have saved the lightning bolt. Because Dreadhorde Arcanist is too important to let survive. Maybe I should have played a land there so that next turn we would actually have a hard castable Force of Will. But I'm feeling like it's just not meant to be this game. We're playing against URg Delver. I'm going to bring in the Abrades to have more answers to Dreadhorde Arcanist. I'm going to bring in 2 Pyroblast because I feel like that's fine. I don't know about Plague Engineer. We could bring in Plague Engineer naming Wizard. We're on the play, so I'm going to keep all the dazes. Thoughtseize can be kind of painful. I think I'll board out 2 forces. No, we need as many answers to Dreadhorde Arcanist as possible. I might take out 1 Thoughtseize and 1 Street Wraith to just basically limit the amount of life that we are having to pay because uh, they can present a pretty quick clock. And I'm technically bringing in the Pyroblast and the Abrades for it, and I feel like that's uh, a fine trade. I'll keep this hand. It's really not the best hand, but at least we have some plays that we can make. So I'm gonna ponder here. Hope to find maybe an Arcanist of my own. Okay, there's a Delver. They're probably gonna fetch basics. Well, we can draw this other wasteland, and sometimes they don't play around wasteland, so that's one path. We do have to fetch next turn though, so that we don't flood out. That's fine. We're going to play the Delver here. And now we have Days for a turn 2 Dreadhorde Arcanist with Pyroblast backup. That will resolve. I think I'll let that resolve too. So unfortunately these wastelands are dead. But I think they probably only have 2 basics, so we can begin using them next turn if they continue to play more lands. There is a Death's Shadow, but we cannot play it. I'm going to play Watery Grave untapped. A Brainstorm. I think I'm going to Pyroblast this. I'm just going to pass. This one will resolve. I'm going to force that. Seems like they probably have a Pyroblast here, or maybe a Flusterstorm. Yep, there's the Pyroblast. So at the very least, we can waste them off of green. I'm going to cycle the Street Wraith, see if we can find a Lightning Bolt for the Arcanist. Not quite a Lightning Bolt, but being able to get our Death Shadow out of Chain Lightning range is pretty good. So we have to draw one of those wastelands, but we can shuffle with a Fluted Delta. If they have another lightning bolt, then our shadow is probably toast. Yeah. Nothing we can do about that. So we are basically dead here. If they flash back. Okay. Yeah, this is probably still lethal anyway. Yeah, this game went pretty. They played around days pretty well this game. They basically didn't play into anything they didn't have to. If they have the lightning bolt, I'm dead, but I have to fetch this because we know that there's only wasteland on top of our library. So we need to brainstorm into multiple removal spells. And that's not it. Alright, we lost to Blue-Red Delver. And let's see if we can win our 5th match here. So far we have, we lost to Snowko, we beat Enchantress, we lost to Elves, and then we lost to Blue-Red Delver. I just couldn't find any removal spells, and they were able to win every counter battle that we got into. We never found any of our Dreadhorde Arcanists. And they were able to play around Wasteland, and we sort of flooded out on Wastelands. So, in retrospect, maybe boarding out some number of Wastelands might have been correct there. Because against a Delver deck that can pretty much be fully operational on basics, I don't really know how valuable Wasteland really is. Like, maybe you might want 2 in your deck, but probably not 4. And that way we maybe could have kept in that Street Wraith and that Thoughtseize. But I think you definitely want the Abrades. Maybe it would have been worth bringing in the Brazen Borrowers as well. I don't know. Brazen Borrower feels kind of slow. I mean, maybe it's so important to not let an Arcanist attack that you just want it for that bounce. And then you hope that, if a Dreadhorde Arcanist resolves, you can at least bounce it. I don't know, though. Doesn't seem quite as good. I maybe should have mulliganed that hand. We had Ponder, Daze, and I can't remember what else. I mean, it was 4 lands, one of which was a wasteland. match here. We are 1-3. I'll keep this hand. There's still very many decks that it could be. I'm going to cycle the Street Wraith. Maybe we can find a Delver of Secrets, perhaps. We could not, so I am going to... I'm going to play the Underground Sea here, even though we have the Death Shadow, because I'd like to save that Scalding Tarn in case we draw a Brainstorm so I can shuffle away extra lands. And it looks like we're playing against either Ad Nauseam Tendrils or the Epic Storm. I'm going to take the Thoughtseize because they can Thoughtseize our only threat. There's the Preordain. And the Polluted Delta. They put 2 cards on the bottom. Let's cycle this Street Wraith. We can Thoughtseize them again, play our Scalding Tarn, fetch a Watery Grave, and then we actually have a pretty big Death Shadow. So I think that's probably fine. So it looks like it's definitely Ad Nauseam Tendrils. I'm going to take the Wishclaw Talisman. So we know about Lotus Petal, we know about Lion's Eye, and we know about Underground Sea. They have Cabal Ritual, Lion's Eye, Lotus Petal, Underground Sea. So the only problem with my plan here is that when you get to this low of a life total, they can sometimes just go for a very quick storm kill, requiring very few cards. But we will just hope that that doesn't happen. So we can put them on a... So that puts us to a 7/7. If we bolt ourselves, we put them on a... They only have 1 turn to beat us. I think we're going to do that. We are going to swing, bolt ourselves, And now they have one turn to beat us. Well, it seems like they might have found something, because they're going for it. Or at least they're playing the contents of their hand. Ah. Well, that's some pretty good luck. We'll concede. They had one turn to find what they needed, and they found it. So we're going to bring in the Plague Engineers. The Null Rod. Probably 2 surgical extractions. And 2 pyroblasts. We're going to take out the bolts. And I'm thinking 2 Wasteland and 1 Death Shadow. And that seems fine to me. This hand is pretty bad. It does have a threat, and it does have Force of Negation, but the rest is pretty garbage. Well, it has a turn 1 threat, so I think I'm going to keep it. This could be incorrect, but we'll see. We've gotten kind of unlucky with our draws tonight. I think I'll Pyroblast this Brainstorm. Gonna get a Steam Fence here to help if we draw a shadow. Well, at least next turn we can keep Force of Negation up. So we have a choice here. But I don't feel like we really do, because Dreadhorde Arcanist is only going to flashback Pyroblast, and there's nothing to Pyroblast. That's not really that great. So we have to hope to draw a Brainstorm, I think. There's a Brainstorm from him. I could force of negation this. They have 4 cards in hand. I'm going to let it resolve. I mean, they're probably going to find and play a discard spell before they attempt to do anything like going off. And a preordain. I'm going to let that resolve. So they put 2 cards on top. We do not want to reveal, and I think we want to shuffle. Well, there's a force of will. I'm going to allow this brainstorm to resolve. I have to imagine they're getting close to the point where they're going to be able to beat us. We need to be drawing better. Brainstorm and no follow-up. Fetch land. Ponder. Finally. Alright. Now we are getting somewhere. And I'm going to play the Arcanist here. I'm going to keep Ponder in hand. We will save it for if they cast a discard spell. They can take one of our counter spells, but not both, unless they have multiple duresses or Thoughtseize and duress. And next turn I'm hoping to ponder, and then ponder again with the Arcanist. Start with a ponder. Brainstorm, Street Wraith, Wasteland. I am going to put Wasteland on top, then Brainstorm, then Street Wraith. No shuffle. I'm going to cycle Street Wraith to draw the Brainstorm, and to make it so that we can cast our Shadow. I am going to flash back the Ponder, but I'm first going to sacrifice Polluted Delta. To limit a fresh 3 cards. And I'm going to pay 2 life to make our Death Shadow a 4/4. Surgical Extraction. Um, don't feel as though that's particularly good. But we can draw the Ponder. Now we have two counter spells that we can use. And Death Shadow makes it a one-turn clock. So they have one turn to beat us. Duress. I think we let this happen. I think we just snap off the force here. Flusterstorm. So in response to that, I'm going to brainstorm. And we're going to daze Cabal Ritual. Yep, there's 3 Lion's Eye Diamonds. Past in Flames. In response to this, I'm going to surgically extract. This is kind of interesting. We could surgically extract Brainstorm. Then they only have Ponder. Or sorry, Preordain. We could also surgically extract Cabal Ritual at this point. But then they have a lot of cantrips. I think we surgical the Brainstorm. And I'm just going to F6. Oh, wait. I should not do that. So I'm going to go ahead and exile that Brainstorm. Exile that Brainstorm. Exile that Brainstorm. Exile that Brainstorm from that library. Let's take one look at their library. So there's some things that could be pretty scary here. I actually don't see a Tendrils. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's above the Thoughtseize. Well, let's hope they don't find that Tendrils. 2 cards on top. Oh, I'm looking at old text. They chose to shuffle with Ponder. Okay. So it looked like they had a lot of creature removal. They did not have Empty the Warrens in that particular game. So maybe we can do without one of these Plague Engineers, and we can bring back in that last Death Shadow, or perhaps what might be even better is another blast effect. That seems fun. I don't really want to get emptied in the final game. This hand seems like a fine hand. We have Thoughtseize and then turn to Dreadhorde Arcanist. I think I'm going to keep this hand. Hopefully they don't turn 1 us. So I'm going to be kind of conservative with my life total here. And I'm going to fetch Underground Sea. Let's take a look. What is the scariest card in this hand? Probably the Ad Nauseam. I'm going to take this Ad Nauseam. I'm going to let that resolve. Two cards on top. They do not duress us. Was hoping to draw something better than a Delver there. But we're going to play our Dreadhorde. We are going to let this duress resolve. Hopefully we don't lose. I have kind of a bad feeling about this. I have a feeling we might just be dead. Yeah. There's a lion's eye diamond. Something tells me they have an Infernal Tutor or maybe Wishclaw Talisman as their last card. Oh, Past Influence. Interesting. I should have brought in my third Snowko extraction, I think. Of course, if this hand had a surgical extraction, they would have attempted to duress anyway. I feel like we're probably dead here. Yeah, there it is. There's the Infernal Tutor, we're dead. Well, we tried. We did not have the best luck, unfortunately. But they were good games. So, we tried Grixis Death's Shadow, and we went 1 and 4, basically only beating Enchantress, which isn't even really a real deck. So thanks for watching, and make of this what you will. The Snowko match was actually probably the closest. Did not feel like any of the rest of these were particularly close, but you know, the deck could probably use a little work. I'm not sure exactly what needs to be changed, but the Brazen Borrowers could have been Hydroblasts, and that would have been a lot better against Blue-Red Delver. The Blue-Red Delver deck that we played against had pretty great draws with Dreadhorde Arcanist that we just couldn't answer, and then counter magic to fight back against our counter magic. So they were able to stick Arcanist for at least a turn, and that just took over the game. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like the deck is fine, but we sort of just got screwed by bad matchups and bad luck in that particular league. So thanks for watching, and I will hopefully record some more videos soon.